U.S. Army reportedly deploys new hypersonic missile to Guam. Photos released by a U.S. Army unit this week appear to show America's newest hypersonic missile system training somewhere in the Pacific, and one open-source analyst believes he has pinned down exactly where. The X account, tracking military hardware sightings under the handle LFX160219, said the U.S. Army may have deployed its Dark Eagle long-range hypersonic weapon to Guam during training tied to exercise Valiant Shield, a large multinational field exercise U.S. Pacific Command runs every 2 years across Guam, Japan, and the surrounding Mariana Islands. The photos themselves come from the 7th Infantry Division, designated Multi-Domain Command Pacific, which posted images on the Defense Visual Information Distribution Service, showing soldiers training with the Dark Eagle system in June 2026, with Admiral Samuel J. Papero identified in the unit's caption as observing the training, appearing alongside Captain Alexander Vahaji and Lieutenant Colonel Alexander, both assigned to the division. The Army did not disclose where the training took place, and said the Guam location is an inference built from 3 pieces of evidence rather than an official confirmation: the photos themselves, Papero's movements through the region that month, and the geography of the broader exercise area Valiant Shield covers. Publicly available records of Valiant Shield 2026 place the exercise running from June 22 through July 1 across Guam, the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands, Japan, and surrounding waters, a window that sits after the June 6 date cited for the training. Dark Eagle, formerly called the Long-Range Hypersonic Weapon, is a ground-launched missile system the Army designated under that name in April 2025 after years of development by Lockheed Martin and Northrop Grumman. The system fires a 2-stage booster that releases a hypersonic glide body once airborne, a warhead capable of flying at speeds beyond Mach 5, 5 times the speed of sound, while maneuvering unpredictably through the atmosphere rather than following the fixed, predictable arc of a traditional ballistic missile, a combination that makes the weapon far harder for existing missile defense systems to intercept. A single Dark Eagle battery consists of 4 trailer-mounted launchers, a battery operations center, a support vehicle, and up to 8 missiles, and the Army has publicly stated the system carries a range of roughly 3,500 kilometers, 2,175 miles. That range carries direct strategic weight for exactly the region believes this training occurred in. Lieutenant General Frank Lozano, the Army's senior official overseeing hypersonic weapons programs, told reporters at a December 2025 event, according to the War Zone, that Dark Eagle could reach mainland China if fired from Guam, using the same reasoning to note it could similarly strike Moscow from London or Tehran from Qatar, illustrating how a single weapon's range reshapes what within reach means depending entirely on where the launcher happens to be parked. Guam sits roughly 2,700 kilometers, 1,678 miles from the Chinese coast, comfortably inside Dark Eagle's stated range. And the island already hosts a growing concentration of American strike capability specifically because its distance from mainland China places it outside the reach of many of Beijing's shorter-range missile systems while still keeping American forces close enough to respond quickly across the Indo-Pacific. The Army has moved cautiously and slowly to field Dark Eagle after a string of testing delays stretching back to 2023. A Congressional Research Service report from April 2026 noted the program had already fielded ground equipment to its first designated unit, Bravo Battery, 1st Battalion, 17th Field Artillery Regiment, part of the 3rd Multi-Domain Task Force based at Joint Base Lewis McChord, with officials indicating the unit expected to receive its first operational missiles around the second quarter of fiscal 2026. That reporting identifies the 3rd Multi-Domain Task Force, not the 7th Infantry Division, as the unit specifically designated to operate Dark Eagle, a detail that raises an open question about exactly how the 7th Infantry Division's photographed soldiers fit into the broader fielding picture, whether through a joint training rotation, a support role, or a unit assignment not yet reflected in earlier reporting.